All right, y'all, we give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamayim. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. I'm going to pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. And there they which testify of me. You will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Alahym in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Alahym only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Why would you do that? That's not bothering you. You could have left it right where she placed it at. It's okay. Like that was going to be the end of it, because she placed the cover at. Hebrews chapter 5 and verse 1. Peace, Brother Omar. Shalom, Mika. For every high priest taken from among men is ordained for men in things to Alahym, that he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins. Who can have compassion on the ignorant and them that are out of the way? For he that himself also compassed with infirmity. And by the reason hereof he ought, as for the people, so also for himself to offer for sins. And no man take this honor unto himself, but he that is called of Alahym, as Aaron. So also Mashiach esteemed not himself to be made a high priest, but that he said unto him, you are my son, today have I begotten you. As he say also on another, you a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Dang, I think I wrote that in the wrong place. Who offered in the days of his flesh, when he offered up prayers and supplications, with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and that he was heard, and that he feared, and though he were a son, yet he learned obedience by the things which he suffered, and being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all that obey him. Called of Alahym a high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Shalom, Amos. Shalom, Brother Mom. So I told you we're going to be looking at the contrast of these two priesthoods and the contrast of these two trees. Genesis chapter 2 and 14 or 17. Please, Brother Ernest, for baseline foundational information before we proceed. Sit down. I can get around there. We make something happen. Genesis chapter 2, verse 17. Make it 15. And Yahuwah Alahym took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Yahuwah Alahym commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it, for in the day that you eat thereof you shall surely die. Come over here to verse 9, same chapter. Yahuwah Alahym planted, verse 8, I'm sorry. Yahuwah Alahym planted a garden eastward in Eden. There he put man whom he had formed. Out of the ground made Yahuwah Alahym to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, a tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, you already know, that's Genesis 3 and 22. I'll make it 20. Matter of fact, I'll make it even better and make it verse 19. Genesis chapter 3, verse 19. And in the sweat of your face shall you eat bread till you return unto the ground, for out of it were you taken. For dust you, and dust you shall return. Stop, that's disgusting. For dust you are, and dust you shall return. Hey, eat your food or go away. It's that simple. I'm not playing with you. And Adam called his wife's name Eve because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also and to his wife did Yahuwah Alahym make coats of skins and clothed them. Yahuwah Alahym said, behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Now, the point of the matter is y'all already know that the tree of life gives you the ability to overcome sin and death, as we have already discussed when we took a deep dive on that in Romans chapter 8. Now, just for informational purposes, because we're going to be contrasting these two priesthoods against these two trees, we'll look at all the places where the tree of life is mentioned. It ain't going to take us long. It's a rather quick endeavor, because most of them are all in the book of Proverbs, as most of you already know. Proverbs chapter 3. Jeremiah 17. What's good, Zoe? Psalms chapter 1. Go ahead and put that on to the side. Proverbs chapter 3. Let me see what verse that we need. I want you to come on over here to verse 7. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 7. Hey. Sit your spare head behind down and don't get up again. Hey. Stop playing with me. You ain't got no more. Proverbs 3 and 7. I don't want to hear that. I don't care. Eat your food. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear Yahuwah and depart from evil. It shall be health to your navel and marrow to your bones. Honor Yahuwah with your substance and with all the first fruits of all your increase. Shall your barns be filled with plenty, and your presses shall burst out with new wine. See, pause. Let's take a look at that. I think we were talking about that wave offering or that heave offering for the first fruits. Leviticus 23. Let's revisit for informational purposes. Leviticus chapter 23. I think we read it in number 16, but it's okay. I mean, Deuteronomy 16, excuse me. Or number 2. Shalom, Sister Regina. Either way I go, I can come back to it. And find out what I want. Leviticus chapter 23, where we need to be at. Right here in verse 9. Verse 9. I'll read both for Pentecost and this one here, but verse 9. Leviticus chapter 23. Shalom, Brother Robert. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, speak unto the sons of Yasharal, and say unto them, when you come into the land which I give unto you, and you shall reap the harvest thereof, then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. For those of you who don't know what a sheaf is, because a lot of us clearly don't participate in what you call it. Because that's what you're looking for. Because a lot of us don't participate in farming and things of that sort. Now, of course, you know that is an omer, that is a sheaf, that is a dry measure. I want you to come and sit back and look at that because there's something in Psalms that pertains to that. I'm trying to remember what Psalm it is. I know what it is. But come over here to Job 24, though. I'm trying to remember. I think it's Psalms 126. I'm going to look and see it just a second. Hold on one second. Job chapter 24. And he's just going to mention something about the sheep. You know what I'm saying? I want you to know that this is Job talking. We'll pick this up in verse 1, and then we'll deal with what brother just asked. Shalom, Jay. When seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty, get out of there and go sit your black behind down. Why seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty? Do they not know that he sees his days? Remove the landmarks. They violently take away flocks and feed. They drive away the ass of the fatherless and take the widow's ox for a pledge. They turn the needy out of the way. The poor of the earth hide themselves together. Now, this pertains to something as what Mashiach said to the scribes. It's for they make long pretense. Let's take a look at that in Matthew 23. I just want you to be aware. Hey, cut it out. No, leave it alone. This nigga here always want to touch something. Shalom, Eric, man. Let's see what the passage at in Matthew 23, so I can show you what I'm talking about. That might actually be in Matthew chapter 6. Hold on. I'm in chapter 24. That's the problem. They pick this up in Matthew chapter 23, verse 13. And I think it's over there in Matthew chapter 6 that came to my brain. But we'll use this also. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut up the Malkuth for Alahym against men, for you neither go in, neither suffer you them that are entering to go in. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widow houses. Praise you. That's the verse I want. Devour widow houses, and for pretense make long prayer. Therefore you shall receive the greater damnation. So you come over here back to the book of Job, right? You see they drive away the ass of the fatherless and take the widow's ox for a pledge, removing landmarks when you know the law say do not remove your neighbor's landmark. This is what these men were doing for their own personal gain. You understand? This is how they were kicking their game. Now, of course, you know over here in verse 15, he tell you how they make one proselyte and they twofold more the child of hell that they are. They blind guides. They pay the tithe of mint, anise, and cumin, and they omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. That's what they should have done. Because see, I'm going to tell you something. Come back to Job 24, and we hold in what? Proverbs chapter 3. We'll come look at Job 14 in a second. Leviticus 23. And then a few things that pertain to that. The reason being, Jeremiah 17 and Psalms 1 also. The reason being is, you know, the tree of life is representative of eternal life or faith, which is what the Shalom Shalom, which is what the priesthood of Melchizedek represents. You know, the priesthood of Aaron represents the law or the flesh, if you would, and how perfection couldn't have came by that. This is what we're making the difference of, so you can see that perfection don't come by the law. Don't mean the law bad. Don't mean the priesthood of Aaron was bad. There was an intended result. Shalom. There was an intended result of which it couldn't bring about. That's it. It's not that hard. Excuse me. It's not that hard to ascertain. It's not that hard to figure out. You know what I'm saying? We had a conversation the other day, and that junk was funny to me because I had to go off on this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Now I ain't going into details of the conversation because it wasn't nothing to go into detail about. But an individual was told by someone that they didn't like him and why they didn't like him. And they mentioned why they didn't like him. And it was based off an interaction of someone that person knew that had with this person that he didn't care to divulge because of the request of the person who had happened to. Individual went around saying, y'all need to make known the accusation and divulge the person. And my point was, why do you care? You know what I'm saying? Now, and I mentioned this, y'all, for a reason, for yourself. Why would you care if somebody lied on you if, number one, you Yahuwah validated, number two, yourself validated, number three, you know who you are. Shalom, Yashaman. You know who you are as a person. Man or woman, you know who you are. Why would you care? I don't care what you think about me. That's none of my business. I don't care about you. I don't care enough to go on a campaign to prove somebody that you're not lying on me. Matter of fact, I'm not even finna step to nobody on this earth about somebody said this. I'm not stepping to no grown man with that. That's whole stuff. You know, people get killed behind that type of stuff. Relationships get ruined behind that type of stuff because you don't even know the person who relayed this information to you. You don't even know if it's true. So why would you even step to somebody about, I heard this, somebody told me this? You know how immature you got to be as an individual to even entertain something like that? That's why I tell y'all, if you tell me, oh, this person did X, Y, Z, that's fine. I'm not saying you're lying. I'll never step to them about it. I can tell you that. Because if you're not going to bring that person and sit them right there and say the same thing to them that you saying to me while they sitting right there, I ain't finna say nothing to them. Damn sure ain't. Absolutely won't. Because that's folly. You know what I'm saying? That is pure D folly. See, let me tell you something. See, that right there is what people would call drama. That's drama. See, somebody stepping to you directly, confronting you about an issue, that's not drama. That's called being an adult. That's called conflict resolution. That's what you're supposed to do. Most people are not accustomed to someone stepping to them and saying, hey, I have a problem with this. Not, no, I heard that you said. Once you come to me about I heard you said, I don't even want to talk to you no more. I don't even believe that you have the cognitive function and ability to operate as an adult for me to even entertain that. Because if you're going to come tell me that, you need to bring the nigga who said it. Straight up and down. Don't bring that to me. That's why I wouldn't bring that to you. And you could have did it for all I know. I don't give a damn though. But I mentioned all that because the dude kept going hard. Like, see, nobody don't know who you are. Nigga, you preaching the word for an image, my nigga? This what you doing, cuz? You want to be known? What we got going on? See, I mentioned this here because when you're dealing with the priesthood, whether Melchizedek or Aaron, you got a job to do. They don't need to be known. If he wants your name to be known, he'll make your name to be known. And the only reason he gonna make your name to be known is so that his name can be magnified by whatever labor you're doing in his name. See, now this person insinuated this in the regards of you don't care what nobody say about you because you don't have a name in Israel. Nigga, I don't even want to be known of you niggas. I don't even give a damn about you niggas. You know what I'm talking about? What I mean by that, y'all are not important enough for me to care about what you think about me. Y'all are not important enough for me to want to be in your circles. You know why? Because you niggas is lame. I be seeing the stuff y'all be doing, cuz I don't want no part of that. I don't want no part of that, man. That junk is lame. It's goofy. It's retarded. It's immature. It's certainly not godly. Why would I want to be affiliated with a bunch of goofies? Just because we all know we Israelites? I'm cool on that, my G. I'm cool on that. I'm mentioning that because you should have the same attitude. Word or not, there should be behavior that you just do not condone, fool with, accept, or will be intertwined with as a man and as a woman. Just certain behavior like, I don't participate in that. Then when you bring the godliness of Yahuwah in, it should be magnified. Oh, I'm not participating in that. Because before you got in the word, you should have been a man first. Before you got in this word, you should have been a woman first. What do I mean by that? A man, a woman of honor. That you have certain principles that you live by. If you didn't have principles that you live by before the word, it's going to be very difficult for you to live by these principles of the word because you ain't had nothing you lived by before you got in it. Be quiet. Don't come over here with that. I didn't ask you. Do not try to divert to your brother. Be quiet. I got a baby for you right here. Get from over here. Get from over here. Get from over here. I'm not playing with you. So come back over here to Job 24. That is something to say. You better weigh that, man, because that ain't manly behavior. What them boy will pull another day. Always remember this here. Shalom, Sister Kelly. Let me ask you all this question. How many times you seen Yahushua running behind people trying to disprove a lie? When the people were lying on him, when they had him arrested, what did he do? What did he do? I need somebody to let me know that right now. Yes, ma'am. No, not that part.
You didn't eat your dinner. Eat your food. You didn't eat your food. How do you eat your food?
Listen. Sister Regina said never. What did this man do when they had him hung from that tree or about to hang him from that tree? What did this man do when these people were making accusations about him? What did he do? Who can tell me what he did? Held his peace. He ain't say nothing. Don't you know it's the Psalms? That's right, Emma. He ain't say a word. Don't you know it's the Psalms that say, I kept my mouth closed because you did it? What did Jacob say to Laban? He said, I let my righteousness speak for me. Man, you ain't got to prove nobody nothing with these people, man. When you know you ain't did nothing. Say, remind me of that verse, the Lord shall fight. Absolutely. So my mom just spoke to me regarding this. She told me that my grandma used to say, the person listening to the bone is worse than the person carrying the bone. Indeed. Indeed. Listen, man. And that's the aspect of faith. If you know Yahuwah is going to come to validate you, I don't give a damn what none of you say about me. I don't care. Especially if I know I didn't do it. You know what a lot of brothers got a problem with? You got an image to maintain. And it doesn't matter if you actually are, what you say, Crystal? Say it's hard to ignore someone who speaks lies on you. It's a see, I know it's different for women because you like this here. The reason why it's hard is because you care what other people think or say. See, this is the thing, right? If somebody know you, they should already know your character. And they should already have a good grasp and idea of what you would do and what you wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? Because if people are inclined and ready to believe lies about you, then they will probably really fool with you anyway. So who cares? You know what I'm talking about? Who cares? You know what I'm talking about? You know why I say who cares? Because you're going to drive and run yourself crazy trying to prove that somebody lying. Man, niggas lie on niggas every day, dude. Most of y'all grew up in a situation where people told you they lied on Jesus. So if you know that and he didn't do it, why are you so concerned? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. It's a catch-22. If you've ever read the, at least I try to remember that. You know, indeed, you can't. You definitely can't. Now, it is a catch-22 because in the 48 Laws of Power, it discusses something along them lines. Like if somebody say a lie about you, it can damage your reputation if you don't say something. But it also can damage your reputation if you do say something. You know what I'm talking about? So you have to have the wisdom to know when to do either or. But when it comes down to godliness, though, if somebody is accusing you of sin, unrighteousness, or ungodliness of any type, it's not even worth you seeking to prove them that they're lying because Yahuwah will show forth that they're a liar. You don't have to do nothing. All you got to do is just sit back and chill. He'll do the rest. You ain't got to stress yourself with that. Let me take you to Psalm 39, what I'm talking about. If I'm not mistaken. Hold Job 24. I got you too, Omar. I ain't forgot. Matter of fact, come over here to Psalm 38 because that's the one I opened straight to it in that regard. I'm going to pick it up at verse 1. He said, I was just thinking about this the other day. There's a balance of worry about your name and not caring about what others think. Absolutely. Shalom, Brother Marcus. You want to leave, and that's the thing. Your works will show. Like I done told y'all before, and I told them niggas this here, right? When we were trapping on Atlantic Beach, man, and I trapped it, and when I came back down there from trapping out east, we were trapping in the way that we were trapping out east, which is that we in the house, the people go in the back and smoke, trick, do whatever they do, and they come up and buy their dope and go back in the back and continue doing whatever it is that they doing. Which that was a foreign thing on Atlantic Beach. Them boys ain't really hustle like that. They ain't really sit in a crack house like that and move like that. You know what I'm saying? In the city, people do that. You know what I'm talking about? So when I'm back in Justina, now I'm in Justina hustling, and people who I grew up with, who've known me since we were 10, 11 years old. They know I don't smoke boomps. They know I don't snort cocaine. They know I don't do nothing of that. They know I smoke straight marijuana. They know that nobody couldn't even get in my car and smoke that. They know that I'm not even finna sit in the house with you while you smoking that. So somebody from Atlantic Beach that I knew saw me round there and was round them and said, yeah, that nigga smoked crack. Because of how we were trapping down there. And they chastised and checked that nigga about it. Them niggas ain't never tell me about that. And you know why they ain't never tell me about that? It happened to be like, oh, we was standing somewhere and that nigga went by. They be like, yeah, that's old goofy nigga around here talking about you smoking dope, man. We had to cuss this nigga out because they knew me. So they didn't even feel the need to step to me about something that somebody said about me because they already know me. And they know what I will do and they know what I won't do. They didn't even feel the need to come tell me that this nigga said something. Because if somebody was to come to me and say one of y'all did something and I know you, man, I'm not going to come to you and be like, oh, this person said you did such and such. Because I already know your character well enough to know, oh, you wouldn't do that. So I'm going to check this nigga and I'm going to go my way. See, when you get caught up trying to check people with everything that you think somebody said or what you heard somebody said, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Yeah. It's too late. It's done. It's over. It's over. Just get the plate and just move on. Yeah, I know it. It didn't even no sense of frustrating herself. She didn't do it. Oh, no. Why would you do that? There's something wrong with her. He said, that's why I see why in that aspect, like somebody like Marlo from The Wire cared about his name. I mean, your name is important. You don't want to have a bad name, but it's, you know what I'm talking about? But you have to have a balance of knowing that you can't control that. You can't control people lying on your name. Because we talking about you serving Yahuwah now. And Yahuwah go ahead and validate you if people lying on you. See, like Psalm 62 say they shoot arrows at the perfect in secret. You understand? So people are going to do that. So if you are actual servant of Yahuwah, you can't stress yourself about that, man. Like I told that nigga other day, man, you know, nigga can make their mouth fry fish. You can say whatever you want to say. You know what I'm saying? If you know you serving Yahuwah and you ain't did them type of things, man, nigga lying on you, all you got to be is like, man, like my name tastes like doo-doo in your mouth. You know what I'm talking about? Let it take like a phallus in your mouth. If that's the case. Because if you feel the need to walk around here and lie on me and you thinking about, if you sit around here thinking about another man to the point that you going around spreading lies about them, that shows more about you that you possibly are homosexual. You're definitely not a man. Because what type of man sitting around thinking about telling lies on another man? To other people. And not while this person is present. You have a mental problem. You have a mental problem. There's something wrong with you mentally. You need professional help. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, man, they just like to be in contentious and strife-filled situations. So to keep yourself in them type of things, you got to follow what they say right here. Let's read it. Psalms 38:1. Oh, Yahuwah, rebuke me not in your wrath, neither chasten me in your hot pleasure. For your arrows stick fast in me, and your hand press me sore. No soundness in my flesh because of your anger, neither rest in my bones because of my sin. For my iniquities are gone over my head as a heavy burden. They are too heavy for me. My wounds stink and corrupt because of my foolishness. I am troubled. I'm bowed down greatly. I go mourning all the day long. My loins are filled with a loathsome and no soundness in my flesh. I am feeble and sore broken. I have roared by reason of the disquietness of my heart. Lord, all my desire before you, and my groaning is not hid from you. My heart pant and my strength fail me. As of the light of my eyes, it is gone from me. My lovers and my friends stand aloof from my sore. My kinsmen stand afar off, which, you know, the disciples were separated from him. Hold on, Crystal. They also that seek after my life lay snares. They that seek my hurt speak mischievous things and imagine deceits all the day long. Now let's see what mischievous is. He says there are songs that talk about exposing him. No, it's not necessarily. It don't tell you to do that. Yahuwah gonna do that for you. Yahuwah gonna do that for you. You ain't got to do that. That's why you don't see a pattern of godly men doing that. You don't have to do that. When you do that, you'll get caught up in like what David was about to do with Nabal, and that's avenge yourself. You don't have to avenge yourself. Vengeance is of you. You don't have to do any of that. That's really, and I understand that, right? Check it, right? Nobody wants to be lied on. Nobody wants to be misrepresented. I get it. I understand it. I'm not knocking you for that. But for the carnal thought, it's a carnal thought process to feel that I must defend myself. I must prove these people a liar. That's your flesh that wants that. Because you want to get in a strife, you're not trusting in Yahuwah to let him have that. Because if you are serving Yahuwah in Ruach and in truth, walking in the beauty of Kadash, it don't matter what they say. Remember, they called Mashiach a devil. They called him a wine bibber and a friend of sinners and publicans. He didn't straighten none of that. They say he was doing the works by Beelzebub. He ain't straight in none of that. He didn't care. He didn't care. Because if I know my Father sent me and the works that I do bear witness of my Father, I don't need to prove nothing to some wicked, unbelieving people. I don't need to prove nothing to you. You know why? Because my Father is going to vindicate me. My Father is going to justify me. You have to remember that. You don't have to do any of that. Fight with a sinner for what? Anybody who lying on you is a sinner. What you fighting with them for? What you fighting with them for? Like, that's what you have to ask yourself. You finna fight with a sinner to prove a sinner wrong? For what? For what? For why? And that's what I had to go off on to do, because I'm like, y'all say y'all teachers of the word and all this here, and you worrying about an accusation that you don't even know what it is? You don't even know who said it? I don't even care enough to investigate somebody telling me I don't like you because somebody I know said you did something to me. You know what I'm talking about? Then I'll be like, well, you and them go suck a phallus and keep my name out your mouth. I don't care nothing about that. Like, straight up, I don't care nothing about that. I'm not even investigating that. I don't even want to know who said it. I don't want to know what they said. Don't even bring that to me. That's scared money. I would have rather you just said, because I don't like you. Because I don't want to hear that. I promise I don't care. I promise I don't. For what? For why? You don't have to. You don't have to. I promise you don't. Indeed, that's why he said, I receive not honor from men for most. I'm really trying to explain to you, and this is in the framework of the priesthood of Melchizedek, which is faith, which is trusted in Yahuwah. That man said, all that live godly will suffer persecution. People gonna lie on you. People gonna say all manner of evil. That man said, matter of fact, I'm gonna read it to you in Peter now, because he told you hold your peace with it. He said, on your part, he is esteemed when they speak evilly. Just don't worry about it. It don't matter. You don't have to fight all the time. You ain't got to do that. There has to come a point in time where you in the word, man, and your spiritual maturity is to the point. I don't care. I just don't care. You know what I'm saying? Say what you want to say. Just don't call me late for dinner. That's all I can say. You can call me whatever you want. Your life will be much more peaceful when you get to that point. You know what I'm saying? The word for mischievous in this particular passage is haba. That is an engulfing ruin, destruction, calamity. You know what I'm saying? Naughtiness, perverse things, wickedness. That's what he means when he said they imagine deceits. You know what I'm saying? They're plotting, planning lies every day. Imagine here is Haggah, and that is to utter, to muse, to devise, the plot, to speak. They are devising, they're imagining, and they are speaking lies. The deceit here is mermah, that's deceit or treachery, falsehood, guile, subtlety. They moving like the serpent in the garden, man. You got to let that be what it be. You understand what I'm talking about? So when he say they seek after my life, they lay snares for me, they seek my hurt and speak mischievous things and imagine deceits all the day long. But I, as a deaf, heard not, and I, as a dumb man, opened not my mouth. Thus I was a man that hear not, and whose mouth are no reproofs. For in you, O Yahuwah, do I hope. You will hear, O Yahuwah, my Alahym. That's it. That's all you got to do. You ain't got to do nothing extra. You ain't got to do nothing with these people. Come over here to Psalms 39. He tell you the same thing. I'll pick it up at verse 1. I said, I will take heed to my ways that I sin not with my tongue. I will keep my mouth with a bridle while the wicked is before me. Look at what he said now. He said, now see, that goes what we talking about in James, where if you got control over your tongue, you a perfect man because you can bridle your whole body. This man said, I will not sin with my tongue. Listen, Absalom was going around lying on David, man. David ain't never go straight, none of that. Saul was around here talking all crazy stuff about David, man. David ain't go straight, none of that. And Yahuwah justified him every time. That's what you have to keep in mind. Yahuwah gonna justify you. So it don't matter. See, this is different when what we were talking about the other day about somebody testing you if you a preacher. That's proven if you are who you say you are. You know what I'm talking about? It's forth is the vocation and stewardship of the ministering of the word of Yahuwah. But people lying on you, But that's a whole nother deal, man. You ain't got to go prove none of that. You ain't got to do none of that. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga lied on me, said I was stealing work. I don't feel no need. I ain't feel no need to go prove nothing to this nigga. I know I ain't stealing your work. I don't care. You can tell them niggas who you roll with whatever you want. You know what I'm talking about? You can tell them niggas whatever you want. If you know you ain't, see, the only time people get nervous about stuff, man, outside of your pride and you just want to prove people lying on you, is that you actually doing it. So you trying to play damage control. You're trying to put the spin cycle on. I don't care. I really don't care. You can say whatever. Who are you to me? When you allow another person lies to have you to that point, that person mean more to you than they should mean. And that means there's a part of you that want their validation. Shalom, man. The people mean more to you than they should. They shouldn't be that important to you. So it's either your pride or your need to be accepted and viewed as a particular type of person. Peace, each man, in other people's eyes. Because I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That's why I told that nigga on like, bro, I don't even talk that much on here, cuz, but you don't know me, cuz. Don't disrespect me and size me like I'm some type of whole type nigga who looking for fame and attention and all that other stuff. I don't kick my game like that. We real niggas over here, cuz. What you see is what you get. I don't got to prove nothing. None of you Hebrew niggas. You niggas not that important to me. I don't want to be in your cliques, clans, or crews, my nigga. I don't want to be, because you niggas move weird. You move in a fashion that if I wasn't the word, I wouldn't fool with you. You know what I'm talking about? See, a lot of people problem is, they want to act like they was a supreme street dude, all this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And me and my homeboys use the term that we heard Pac use. It's a code of etiquette. You know what I'm talking about? There was a particular code of etiquette, principles, and values. Some of y'all a little younger, you know what I'm saying? You heard Juvenile use it as the G code. It's just a certain way that we live. We don't violate these terms and conditions. So when we see a man moving, you ain't got to be no street dude. You ain't got to be we don't care nothing about that. You know what we care about? People who are 100% authentically themselves and live by a certain code of principles of honor that they chose to live their life by. That is just certain things that they're not going to participate in. That's what we respect, because that's a real person. You with all that fake phony stuff, man, you think because I care because you teach some word or you know some word, I'm supposed to care about that? Man, I don't care nothing about that when I see you moving like a weirdo. When I see you moving dishonorably. You knowing some word don't give you no pass for being a sucker. It don't give you no pass for being a sucker. I'm not going to be affiliated with no suckers. I'm not doing it. I don't have to do it. I won't do it. You know what I'm talking about? Don't mean that we can't be professionals, because we all professionals here. That means we can interact with you in a professional fashion. Peace, Joseph, man. You know what I'm talking about? We can interact with you in a professional fashion. I don't have to be intimately involved with a goofy because you don't know how to conduct yourself in an honorable fashion. You know what I'm saying? No, cuz that's not cool. That's not cool. See, a lot of people, they hear real nigga and they think that's talking about street stuff. Being real, man, is you authentically what it is that you say you represent. That's how you live your life. Okay, if you have some foibles or some flaws or some things, some weaknesses, I should say, that you dealing with in the word, but you honest about them weaknesses, bro, we gonna respect you about that. If you say, man, I got a problem with them women, man, I'm trying to keep my lust, you know, I be slipping on that. I respect that because you being 100% honest with yourself and with me. You ain't acting like you godly, but slaying everything you see. So we respect that. You know what I'm talking about? All you got to do is be 100. Man, if you ain't going to be 100 with yourself, you ain't going to be 100 with me, which means you ain't going to be 100 with Yahuwah. So why would I want to be with you? Why would I want to be around you? Why would I want to be affiliated with you? I don't, and I won't. And you got to take that into account, man. Shoot, man, these Hebrew niggas weird, cuz. Every time I run across some of these dudes, I be like, yeah, man. I told Lil Trap that the other day, I said, I'm going to just stick with my crew. Stick with my niggas, man. If we come across some brothers and they solid, it's always love now. It ain't going to be like, oh, we just over here. It's always love. But I see how a lot of these known dudes be moving. I don't want to be friends with them. Because they going to be mad with us. Because we ain't finna sit there and look at that goofy stuff and not say nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Like, bro, what you got going on, cuz? What's up with that? Because that's why they got mad with me. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with y'all? Why you moving like this? This ain't good. You ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. The only person you need to prove something to is Yahuwah and the people who you done gave your word to that you going to do something. You know what I'm talking about? The people that you involved with and you said this is what I'm on, the only people you owe any type of explanation to by anything. Outside of that, man, bump these people, man. Come on, man. Psalm 39:1. I said I was going to Peter. My bad. 1 Peter chapter 4. That done aggravated me, as you can tell. I ain't like that. I ain't like that at all. 1 Peter 4:12. You can't be around here policing nobody. That's what the dude told me. See, that's what's wrong with y'all men. Y'all don't check nothing. Check nothing? I'm not finna check nobody about nothing. That's the same way these dudes talking about y'all don't hold these women accountable. I can't hold no woman accountable I'm not responsible for. It's not my job to be holding women accountable on the internet. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, that's retarded. How you gonna hold somebody accountable? You hold the people that you are around in real life accountable. I ain't saying you got to have no knee-deep relationship with them, but if you don't even have no interactions with people, that's wild. Yes, sir, that's what we're doing, though. That's wild, bro. That's wild to me. You know what I'm saying? Well, beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you with some strange thing happen unto you, but rejoice inasmuch as you are partakers of a Mashiach's suffering, that when his esteem shall be revealed, you may be glad with exceeding joy. If you be reproached for the name of a Mashiach, blessed are you. For the ruach of esteem of Alahym rest on you. On their part, he's evil spoken of, but on your part, he is esteemed. Let's take it a step further. Come over here to Luke chapter 6. Because a lot of y'all gonna mess around and get your name written out of heaven because you want to prove something to somebody. You know what I'm talking about? And I've been telling y'all this for years, what this man said. And I'm zeroing in heavily on this here. Luke chapter 6, verse 1. Because don't just read verses and see it and don't lay it to your heart like you really supposed to move like this. Because this is literally representative of this priesthood. The Melchizedek priesthood is a complete and total giving over of the heart, mind, and soul to Yahuwah. It's nothing fleshly about it. It is a faith-based priesthood. That's what it is. That's what it is. You have to acknowledge that. Checking workers over Zoom call is atrocious. Who you tell? That's wild, bro. That's wild. Like this man literally said, you gotta check somebody. Or check. I'm talking about you gotta check. He talking about check. I ain't checking. I check somebody for what? I told this dude, man, I said, man, where I'm from, people die about this type of stuff you own, bro. People get killed behind this type of stuff, man. It's not no game. Because everybody don't live by the same standards, man. Same values. So when you go to checking somebody, you better make sure you're ready for whatever. You understand? I'm talking about when you checking people that you're not attached to. See, as a man, it's not your job to check no woman that you're not attached to. If that's not your mama, if that's not your sister, if that's not your wife, if that's not your daughter, if that's not your niece, if that's not your cousin, you're not attached. Man, look at, man, what you look like checking a woman, man, that might be another man's husband, another man's wife, man. Man, now you checking this man's wife in the street, this nigga put a bullet in your brain. Because he like, who you think you is stepping to my old lady like that? Like, dudes don't even think about that type of stuff, man. You know, that's well, why your husband got you. It don't matter why her husband got her on there. You ain't had no business stepping to that woman like that. That woman not attached to you, cuz. Man, you don't play them. You lose your life about this type of stuff, man. But dudes don't think about that because you niggas goofy. You not a man. Man, any man, word not, no, man. You just don't go out here randomly checking people, woman, man. You don't know that woman, man. So what, you don't agree with her point of view? It's her point of view. It's her opinion. Why does her opinion bother you so much? It could be the dumbest thing you ever heard. She could be 1,000% wrong. Why do you care? I don't care. Man, I hear women on Clubhouse and all type of places say some of the dumbest things you'd ever want to hear. Man, I'm not checking this chick. Check her for what? I don't even know her. I don't even know her enough to care about her misinformation. And then you don't even have enough skill and finesse to know how to check somebody. You know what I'm talking about? Because you really don't care about the person. You just want to feel like I check these women, these modern women. Man, go find you a prostitute, because that's what's wrong with you. You drive a cement truck and you're mad. Or your mama beats you all the time. You want to take it out on somebody. What's wrong with you, man? You need a hug, cuz. We find somebody grandma to hug you. You need somebody to cook you a nice meal, man. You want some collard greens and some yams, man. You want a turkey leg or something. I'm talking about all online, too. I'm talking about online. Nigga checking women online, his old lady running and ragged at the house. How you checking women online, you don't check your old lady at home? That's how you know dudes get ran roughshod by the old lady, because they trying to check every woman online. They don't check their old lady, though. She tell him, go make the bed. He go make it. He ain't even sleep in the bed last night. She tell him he can't have no, she like Martin on Roscoe Jenkins. He can't eat no ribs or nothing. He can't have nothing he want. He got to sneak it. But you checking women all day on the internet, man. Go get a life, cuz. Luke chapter 6, verse 20. And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, Baruch poor, for yours is the mouth of Alahym. Baruch that hunger now, for you shall be filled. Baruch that weep now, for you shall laugh. Baruch when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you, and shall reproach, and cast your name as evil for the son of Adam's sake. Rejoice at you in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in Shamahim, for in like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. He said the internet giving them liquid courage. It is. But listen to what he said, man. Man, your name written in heaven if people lying on you, man. If people speaking dishonorable things against you, you don't need to fight against it, man. Your name written in heaven. Let God be esteemed on your behalf, man. Stop trying to take the honor away from God so you can feel justified in your mind by proving somebody lying on you. Stop doing that. You don't need to do that. Because, see, you can prove they're not lying on you, but you just got your name removed from heaven. He told you to rejoice. That's what he told you to do. So do just that. Just do just that. Let me get this Psalm 39 out the way. I ain't gonna cut y'all short, but I had to share that with y'all because I promise you, boy, them niggas had me mad yesterday. Or whatever day that was. I don't think it was just, it might have been Monday. Them niggas pissed me off with that. You know what I'm talking about? And it wasn't even what they did, it's how they came at me about it. By explaining to them what went down, because they stepped to an old woman and ambushed her about a situation when these goofy niggas talked to the man who said it. He talked to the man directly. But he had to play the victim. Oh, they hating on me. They jealous of me. They talking bad about me. I promise to you, boy, too many of these dudes out here got vagina between their legs, man. A vagina between their leg and a woman's heart in their body. Because that's not how men do, boy. You don't do that. Word or not. Word or not. Where's your honor at? Respect for yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Where's your faith in God? Like, my word. It's ridiculous. Psalms 39:1. Listen to what he say now. I said, I will take heed to my ways that I not sin not with my tongue. Always remember what the Apostle James told you. He said, a man religion is vain if he don't know how to bridle his tongue. He said, a man religion is vain if he don't know how to keep his mouth shut. If you don't know how to keep your mouth shut, what good is your religion, man? It's worthless. That's James, the Epistle of James 1:26, for those who like to read it for themselves, because I'm not going around that corner. He said, I will keep my mouth with a bridle while the wicked is before me. I was dumb with silence. I held my peace from good, and my sorrow was stirred. My heart was hot within me while I was musing. The fire burned. Spake I with my tongue. Yahuwah make me to know my end, the measure of my days, what it is, that I may know how frail I am. Behold, you have made my days as a handbreadth, ages as nothing before you. Truly, every man at his best state is altogether vanity. Selah. Surely every man walk in a vain show. Surely they are disquieted in vain. He heap up and know not who shall gather them. And now, Lord, what wait I for? My hope is in you. Deliver me from all my transgressions and make me not the reproach of the foolish. I was dumb. I opened not my mouth because you did it. You ain't got to say nothing to these people. Hold your peace and let Yahuwah stand strong on your behalf. Don't you know in 2 Chronicles 16:9, this man say the eyes of Yahuwah go to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong on behalf of those whose heart is perfect towards him? Your heart perfect towards Yahuwah. You ain't got to do nothing to say nothing to these people. He gonna prove him to be a liar. He gonna prove him to be a liar. You ain't got to do nothing but stand back and chill and just watch the man work. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. When you feel the need to fight, that's just your flesh. That's just your flesh. So you got to crucify that. You got to mortify that. That's all. Because I understand. Listen, right? I'm not simple enough to not understand the want to vindicate yourself. See, hold on. Come over here to 1 Samuel 25. Let me show you what David finna say, man. I'm off the beaten path a little bit. I got Job 24, Job 14, Leviticus 23, Psalms 1, Jeremiah 17, and Hebrews 5 was the base. Let me see what verse I want in 1 Samuel 25. 1 Samuel 25, 32. 1 Samuel 25 and 32. This is David's response to Abigail. Hush your mouth. And David said to Abigail, Baruch Yahuwah Alahym Yasharal was sent you this day to meet me. Baruch your advice. Baruch you, which have kept me this day from coming to blood, from avenging myself with my own hand. For in very deed Yahuwah Alahym Yasharal live, which have kept me back from hurting you, except you had hasted and come to meet me. Surely there had not been left unto Nabal by the morning light any that piss against the wall. See, when this woman, remember, this woman was full of understanding. This is what the book say. So she had insight into the workings of Yahuwah to know you ain't got to do all that. And guess what? He was ready to kill Nabal and everything there based off how he's talked to him. You don't have to do that. And of course, y'all know what happened to Nabal. He died from a heart attack. You ain't got to do all that. Come over to Job 24. No, you can't have it. Now go on and cry and get it over with. Nobody cares. I stop at Job 24 and verse 4. I read verse 3. Now, all this is stemming because this is how the scribes did, man. They mistreated the people. These were carnal individuals. They didn't care. Proverbs 24 and 3. Job 24 and 3, I'm sorry. They drive away the ass of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox for a pledge. They turn the needy out of the way. The poor of the earth hide themselves altogether. Behold, wild asses in the desert. They go forth to their work, rising betimes for a prey, food for them and for children. They reap his corn in the field. They gather the vintage of the wicked. They cause the naked to lodge without clothing, no covering in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains and embrace the rock for want of shelter. They pluck the fatherless from the breast and take a pledge from the poor. They cause to go naked without clothing. They take away the sheave from the hungry. See, listen, right? That sheave is that omer. They take away that first fruit from the hungry. We just read about no. We just read about that hungry. Those who hunger after righteousness. As he said in another psalm, I'm Yahuwah, your Alahym, open your mouth wide and I'll fill it. See, they want to take that first fruit away from you. See, why am I mentioning all this? Because people want to take the tree of life away from you. See, a lot of these Hebrews, they want to take, when you focus on the law and we Israelites and all that, they taking Melchizedek away from you. They taking that first fruit or that omer away from you. Because Aaron can't give you life. The tree of knowledge of good and evil can't give you life. It was never intended to. And you can see that in the law in the beginning. That's clear. That's plain. That's not something that you have to have some great spiritual insight to be able to decipher. It's right there in your face. I understand. Come over here and look at Job 14 for brother. Leave my son alone. I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask. I did not ask. Now, verse 7 ain't dealing with the tree of life. That's dealing with the hope of a tree or a man, representative of a man. Where he say for the hope of a tree, what did it say? If it be cut down, it will sprout again. So you really want to come over there to Daniel 4 as it pertains to that. When that tree got cut down, but they left in the stump, and then it began to regrow itself. My phone just told me the dude from Famous Amos just died. The Cookie Man, the black man. He was 88 years old. What was that? Leviticus 23. Yeah, Famous Amos. That was a black dude who made them cookies. I forgot he got down bad and he had to sell the name, and then he made some new cookies because he couldn't get rights back to benefit off his initial cookies. I watched a video about him some years back. Hey, quiet. Jamal, stop eating that, Jamal. Jamal, you don't care. My son done turned into a goat. 23:9 again, Leviticus. And you will speak unto Moses, saying, speaking to the sons of Yasharal, and say unto them, when you be coming to the land which I give you, unto you, you shall reap the harvest thereof, and you shall bring the sheave of the first fruit of your harvest unto the priest. And you shall wave the sheave of Yahuwah to be accepted for you on the morrow after Shabbat. The priest shall wave it. If you remember, he said tomorrow after the Shabbat. This is how you know that Mashiach did not rise on the Sabbath day. You can't offer the wave offering on the Sabbath. That's not when it's supposed to be offered. And again, this is about when he's in see, people looking for 72 hours. It said 3 days and 3 nights. It didn't say nothing about no hours. This is what we were talking about last week when you see it say, and in the midst of the week, he'll confirm the covenant with many. Well, in the midst of the week is in the midst of unleavened bread. This is what put the priesthood of Aaron. Pause. Matthew 27. Matthew 27. Matthew chapter 27, verse 50, if you would. Oh, my God, today. Matthew 27 and 50. Yahushua, when he cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the Ruach. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from top to bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. Now I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, what is the significance of the veil of the temple rending? I'll read to you out the law as it pertains to the veil of that said temple. It's in Exodus chapter 26. It's about verse 31. And you shall make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet, fine twined linen of cunning work, with cherubims shall it be made. And you shall hang it upon the 4 pillars of Shittim, overlaid with the gold, their hooks gold upon 4 sockets of silver. You shall hang up the veil upon the taches, that you may bring into within the veil the ark of the testimony, and the veil shall divide unto you between the Kadash and the most Kadash. And you shall put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most Kadash. And you shall set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle towards the south. And you shall put the table on the north side. And you shall make a hanging for the door of the tent, blue, purple, scarlet, fine twined linen, with wrought needlework. And you shall make for the hanging of 5 pillars Shittim, and overlay them with gold, hooks gold, and you shall cast 5 sockets of brass for them. It allows you to go before the mercy seat, and you will be all right. Yes, that is the veil of the Kadash, the Holy of Holies in the tabernacle. It rent. Now, why is this important? Because when you look at when this was made, who was the only person who could go in there? Indeed, mercy is above the law. That is indeed, Brother Omar. Only the priesthood of Aaron was the only priesthood around at that time. Melchizedek, there was no tabernacle of Yahuwah for him to go into. There was no tabernacle of now, it's not that you don't need a priest to go before the mercy seat. It's that now you can go in, you know what I'm talking about, and not die. But it also is showing you the ending of Aaron's priesthood. It's showing you the ending of that. Let me show you why. Hebrews chapter 4. That is correct, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hebrews chapter 4. That's where we about to head at. That's where we started at in Hebrews 5. Hebrews chapter 4. Verse 14. You're hard-headed. I'm not smiling. I see in your days, your butt gonna end up very tender. Hebrews 4:14. Seeing that we have a great high priest that is passed in the Shamahim, Yahushua the son of Alahym, let us hold fast profession. For we have not a high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted like as without sin. Let us therefore come boldly into the throne of grace that we may obtain mercy to find grace to help in the time of need. See, beforehand, if you needed help in the time of need, you would have to go to Aaron and Aaron would go in for you. You couldn't go in there. Now you can go directly to the high priest. Before you couldn't do that because the high priest got access to Yahuwah. Because that's where the mercy seat at. Now the Son of God is in the Holy of Holies, and you got access to the Father through him. This is the difference. Because if any of us would have went into the Kadash, the Holy of Holies, you would have died. Remember what we read about the Kohathites? They couldn't even go in there. They couldn't even go in there, or they would die. Let's look at Hebrews chapter 7. We're going to probably end up coming back in this here a couple times. But verse 15. And it is more evident that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there arise another priest who is made not after the law of carnal commandment, but after the power of endless life. And see, this is where you get the contrast of how the tree of life is representative of Aaron, because that's carnal commandment, versus endless life, which is the tree of life, which is the priesthood of Melchizedek. And Aaron's priesthood can't give you endless life. It was never intended to. The tree of life or the law cannot give you endless life. It was never intended to. See, when people hear that, oh, you telling people not to keep the law. Well, man, why they died when they got it then, cuz? And why did nobody have endless life while having it? See, you hear that because you ain't keeping it anyway. So that's why your mind go to that. See, like I said, man, I was telling them, these people were shocked when I mentioned this here, right? Because they had a room today, man. They were talking about, when we were working, man, they were talking about, did the black church fail the people? And I told them I have no conversation on whether they failed the people or not, because I've never been a part of a church. See, it's hard for a lot of brews to just say, hey, if you don't have no experience in that, don't speak on it, positive or negative. If you feel like the church, see, the people to the affirmative are going to be looking at the civil rights stuff and the things of that nature, which the church did, which I couldn't be mad at them if they said, no, they didn't fail us. Look at what they did, 1, 2, 3. And then you have some who look at it doctrinally. Oh, they failed us because they didn't teach us this, or they taught us this, or they did this, or they did that. And I can understand that perspective also. You know what I'm talking about? Like, people don't even look at that two things can be mutually truthful at the same time. They could have benefited and failed us at the same time and be 100% accurate. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up and down. But when I told them, I'm like, man, they say, man, well, what religion were you a part of? I'm like, none. And it was funny to me because this is why a lot of these dudes have a problem actually reaching certain people, because your aspect is to come with religion or to destroy the religion that they were a part of, when all you got to do is just preach Yahuwah, man. Preach Yahushua HaMashiach. Let the Father be esteemed through the manifestation of his righteousness. I ain't got to tear down nothing, man. The word gonna tear it down. I don't care if you was raised Baptist, Pentecostal, Apostolic, Kojic, Muslim. You know what I'm talking about? Doggone, what it is, man, Hindu. I don't care if you was part of Aztec religion. I don't care what you was a part of. That don't mean nothing to me. I don't got to come through and destroy that. Man, when Yahuwah step in the scene, it's already destroyed. It's already destroyed. When the righteousness of Yahuwah is manifested, anything in his path ain't got no choice but to get burned up. You have to know that. You have to know that, man. Who cares? I don't need to do that. It's not important. But I understand that thought process, because most people think all black people involved with religion. But see, this is my thing. Who cares if you went to church every week, your people took you to church, but you were living foul and sour? You thought it was all right because you went? And that's how a lot of people find out they Israelites and coming this way, and you live a facade because you became accustomed to living fake. You understand what I'm telling you? You was faking church. So now when you come in this here, you fake some more. You never learned how to be real. When I'm talking about real, being authentic to what it is that you profess and what you represent and living that, you don't know how to do that because you were conditioned to be a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? You were conditioned to do that. We say, well, when we were at Mount Sinai, y'all spoke directly to us. When we had Moses to speak for us instead of Yahuwah directly, is this why we needed a mediator? Truth be told, yes. Because they could have had Yahuwah directly, but they definitely said, we don't want to talk to you lest we die. Let Moses, and that was the end of it. You know what I'm talking about? You're going to have to go through somebody to get to him now. But even when you're dealing with the tabernacle being built, Emma, once you start dealing with that and how sanctified that is, like anybody just couldn't go up in there. Especially if you come into the priest and you offering a sin offering or a trespass offering, you're going to be consumed. So that's why he went in on your behalf. Like DMX said, some people never change. They just find a new way to lie. You know what I'm saying? That indeed. Now I'm going to tell you something. This ain't represent, because most of y'all probably went to church and you probably thought that what you were doing was right. You know what I'm talking about? And I can read that for you, Emma. And you struggling with X, Y, Z. But it was just this, that, there, and the third. But we know. Most of you know. I knew from afar, not necessarily up close, that people went to church and you were pretending to be someone who you weren't. Like when you left from out of that pew and you walked out that door and you got in that car, you lived completely different than how you wanted to represent yourself when you were amongst your church family. So when people come in the word, they're doing the same thing. When they find out they're Israelite, quote unquote, in the truth, you're doing the same thing. And you think you're more justified because you know you're an Israelite or because you know, oh, we're supposed to do X, Y, Z. But you're doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like being out there in the streets, man, we had already moved by, man. You couldn't talk it if you didn't live it. You couldn't be out here talking like you was no killer. And that's not how you was living your life. Man, ain't nobody respecting that. Nobody's respecting that. That's one thing. I ain't gonna say I was shocked per se, like I didn't see that coming. But I was definitely, you know what I'm talking about, took a step back and like, boy, these boys, wow, that nobody, once I started coming across more brews, that nobody felt the need to actually be living what it is that they say they represented. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't feel that was important. It was everybody saying, brother, this, that, and the third. But I'm like, but you in front of people representing something, but you not that. And that's cool to you? Like that's cool to you. I was like, boy, these boys different. You know what I'm saying? These boys are different. These boys are different. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, how can you be in front of these people talking X, Y, Z and making concessions and compromises for your people? You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about your people who ain't in the word, your kids and all that there. You're not standing on what it is that you say you represent in no area of life, and you think that stuff cool. And I'm talking about some of your favorite Hebrew teachers move like this. Some of your favorite Hebrew rappers and musicians move like this. Some of your favorite Hebrew personalities move like this. And they think it's cool. I don't respect it. You know what I'm talking about? And I wouldn't listen to none of these niggas because that's wild. That's wild. You have to sit back and take a step. You really think Yahuwah would put praises in the mouth of men who move like this? You think Yahuwah would really give word to men who move like that? Because that's dishonoring him. That's dishonoring him. He says it's a culture of hypocrisy. And true, in my younger days, we didn't carry Bibles in church, and the pastors didn't know the word. Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, it is what it is, you know. But let's come over. Let me get that for you. Come over here to Exodus. I think it's 20. I think it's 20. I think it's 20 minutes. Look at that. Yep. Like so. Exodus 20 and 18. And the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet, the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, speak you with us, and we will hear. But let not Alahym speak with us, lest we die. Moses said unto the people, fear not, for Alahym has come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that you sin not. The people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where Alahym. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, you say unto the sons of Yasharal, you have seen that I talk with you from Shamahim. You shall not make with you gods of silver, neither shall you make unto you gods of gold. That's good enough, man. But you see, they say no. So that's why you have an intermediary. That's somebody who can go and stand on your behalf. But now you have someone who stands in the gap. Because see, you couldn't go directly to the Father because you would die. So Mashiach stands in the gap on your behalf. 1 John 2 and 1. Mashiach stands in the gap on your behalf. You understand? And you can step to him. You can go straight into the Kadash or Kadash to the high priest and go straight to him. You couldn't do that before. You couldn't do that with Aaron. And that's a major, major difference that a lot of people don't consider. 1 John chapter 2, verse 1. He said, my little children, these things write I unto you that you sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Abba, Yahushua HaMashiach the righteous. He is the propitiation for our sins, and not for ours only, but also for the whole world. Listen. Here in 1 John 2 and 1, what things out of the law come to mind for you? Here in 1 John 2 and 1. Let me swing back to Leviticus 23. Does anything from the law come to mind for you when you hear 1 John 2 and 1? It should be one thing specifically, in my estimation. But hey, I could be wrong. It should be some things that come to your mind that could go along with that. But in my estimation, it is one thing that should come to mind when you hear 1 John 2 and 1. Let me finish reading it for you in Leviticus 23 and 11. He shall wave the sheaf before Yahuwah to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Shabbat shall the priest wave it. And you shall offer that day when you wave the sheaf a he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering. What comes to mind for y'all? I'm going to swing back to Proverbs 3, by the way. What comes to mind for y'all when you hear 1 John 2 and 1? Do I need to read it again for everybody? If I do, I can. I ain't got no problem with that. I just got to read it off the app because 1 John being gone, I did do it. I got the Bibles I used to use, but I don't remember the pages like I did then because it's been some years since I put them to work. You say Exodus 32 with Moses. What in Exodus 32 are you referring to specifically? Peace, Yadda, man. What's good with you, my G? I'm back over here in Proverbs 3, man. I stopped at verse 9. And I stopped there because, you know, the law tell you don't delay your first fruits. He mentioned the first fruits of all your increase. I just wanted you to look at Mashiach as being your first fruits of the increase. You know what I'm talking about? And things of that sort. Let me read 1 John 2 and 1 for you again. My little children, these things write unto you that you sin not. If any man sin, we have an advocate with Abba, Yahushua HaMashiach the righteous. He's the propitiation for our sins, and not for ours only, but also for the whole world. It's in the law now. What you call it? I'm talking about Deuteronomy. I mean, it's not Deuteronomy. Genesis to Deuteronomy. I'm sorry. That's where you're going to find what you should see here. Propitiation, for those who don't know, that Greek word is hilamos, and that is an appeasing, the means of appeasing. So when you look at something, an atonement, when you look at propitiation, that is an appeasing or an atonement offering. So what should come to your mind when you hear that? It's actually going to tie into another epistle letter, which is going to tie in back into this law, which is going to tie in to what the tree of life is actually a manifestation of, which the tree of knowledge of good and evil could never be, which is what the priesthood of Aaron never could be. Gotta wait. It's okay. Just sit on down. Go ahead and lay down. Anybody? Going once? Going twice? You said Exodus 32 and 30. Let me look at it and see. Oh, you thinking about something. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that one there not gonna work right here, man. When you say that he would want to make himself an atonement for sin, forgiveness sin. Come over here to your law, man. Leviticus 16. When you seen that propitiation for sins, and then you see that it means atonement or appeasing, and you say, if any man sin, you have an advocate. Leviticus 16 with the Day of Atonement in the law should have came to your mind, because that's what he's describing. That's what was done on Leviticus and done on the Day of Atonement. The priest would come in to make atonement for you. Leviticus chapter 16. I'll look at verse 1 and then I'll move around. Yahuwah spake unto Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron, when they offered before Yahuwah and died. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, speak unto Aaron your brother, that he come not at all times into the Kadash, within the veil before the mercy seat, which is upon the ark, that he die not. For I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat. Now listen what he said. Aaron couldn't even go into the Holy of Holies like that. He said he couldn't come in there at all times. See, now with Mashiach, with the priesthood of Melchizedek, you can come in there at all times. You couldn't do that before. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they be like that sometimes, bro. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you couldn't do that before. See, a lot of brews be like, you ain't got to do this here. But you couldn't. If Aaron couldn't step in there like that, what make you think you can? My God, today. Thus Aaron come unto the Kadash with a young bullock for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. He shall put on the Kadash linen coat. He shall have the linen breeches upon his flesh. He shall be girded with a linen girdle. With the linen mitre he shall be attired. These, the Kadash garments. Therefore he shall wash his flesh in water, and so put them on. He shall take the congregation of the sons of Yasharal 2 kids of the goats for a sin offering, 1 ram for a burnt offering. Aaron shall offer his bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make an atonement for himself and for his house. He shall take the 2 goats and present them before Yahuwah at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Now notice what he got to do. He got to come in there and make an offering for himself before he could even make an offering for the people. Now let's drop down a bit. Verse 15. Then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering that is for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with that blood as he did. Yeah, Leviticus 16 and 15, Dave. Then he shall kill the goat, but we read in where he got to make the offering for himself, verse 6. Then he shall kill the goat of the sin offering that's for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat and before the mercy seat. And he shall make atonement for the Kadash, because of the uncleanness of the sons of Yasharal, because of their transgressions and all their sins. So shall he do for the tabernacle of the congregation that remain among them in the midst of their uncleanness. And there shall be no man in the tabernacle of the congregation when he go to make atonement in the Kadash, until he come out and have made an atonement for himself and for his household and for all the congregation of Yasharal. See, you couldn't go in there. Only he could go in there. So when you read that 1 John 2 and 1, and he tell you, hey, if you sin, you have an advocate. Yahushua HaMashiach the righteous, he's the atonement for not just our sins, but the sins of the whole world. And why is that important? Because it takes us back to what we were looking at in Genesis, and that's how you know that he was an atonement for the whole world, because the whole world has the punishment of Adam on their head, because death reigned from Adam to Moses, even after those who did not sin after the similitude of Adam. You understand? This is why Adam's genealogy is listed in Luke chapter 3. These are very simple things. You know, brews argue all day about nobody can be saved but Israel, because they think salvation, like I told you, they think the curse of the law and salvation is just pertaining to being delivered from your enemies and being in servitude to other people. They don't understand the greatest enemy that we all face is death. There's no man under heaven that won't taste that. If they're not alive at Mashiach's coming, they all gonna taste it. Yes, sir. They all gonna taste it. Ain't no way around that. There's no discharge in that battle. But nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody wants to talk about that, because niggas gonna die, man. Come on, man. People putting people in graves every day. It's a funeral every day. Somewhere in the world, it's a funeral every day. Every day. And this man doesn't ransom you from the power of the grave. And that's why I don't participate in none of them arguments and conversations of that sort, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Who cares? Okay, believe that, cuz. What that mean to me? You have to get to the point of, why do you care? What do I mean by why do you care? If Yahuwah gave him bad information, you going to be able to change it? You can't change it. The only thing you can do is to rejoice in the Amath of Yahuwah, to proclaim his righteousness and live a faithful and Kadash and quiet life, and go about your business. And let that be representation of the Almighty Abba and Shamayim through Yahushua HaMashiach. And if he gives them another mind to believe otherwise, then praise be to Yahuwah. And if he keep them with the same mind, then praise be to Yahuwah. But you have to come to the point to understand that you cannot effectively change anyone's mind, because that's in Yahuwah's hands. He declared to every man what his thought going to be. You know what I'm talking about? So if you want somebody's mind to change, about the only thing you can do is to seek to make intercession on their behalf in prayer, and that's about it. That's about it. But then you'd have to get to the point, if you praying fasting more for somebody to be saved than to pray and fast to make sure that you strengthen to actually be a representation of Yahuwah under others, you might have some idolatrous tendencies towards this particular individual. Straight up and down. Because some people, man, ain't enough prayer in the world gonna get them right. They just evil. You see, it really dawned on me recently that many debates fall into carnal works. They do. But you'd have to look at it that most brothers and sisters who come into knowing they're Israelite come in through carnal teachings. So when you understand that you're getting brought in through carnality, then 99.9% of the time, the things that you focus on are going to be carnal also. You know what I'm talking about? So the level of, and then we'll try to make spirituality be what we want it to be versus what he declared it to be. You know what I'm saying? That's why people say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Nigga, what does that mean? It's many spirits out here, cuz. It's many. Because if you have the Ruach HaKadosh of the living Alahym, Yahuwah of hosts is his name, then you're going to move in a different type. Number one, you're not going to be out here sinning. And you're not going to be justifying out here sinning. And your faith is going to be rock solid. Rock solid, very strong, because you would have built it upon the rock. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be different. He said they got them zodiac spirits. That boy, that wild. It's going to be different. You can't mix and mesh the stuff that you want or you believe is representative of the word when that man ain't on that. See, a lot of people's issue is this, and I told y'all this plenty of times. You are personally invested in things that Yahuwah don't care about. And then you want to mix and mesh them with the word. I don't have any personal care, thoughts, or concerns about too much of nothing. Well, I mean, like I tell you, like, I don't care about no woman preaching and teaching no word personally. I genuinely don't care. But I can't tell you that if the word does not approve that. I can't tell you that just because I wanted to say that. Or I don't want to be shunned by a particular group of people. I don't give a damn if you niggas like me, cuz. And I don't care if you agree with what I got to say. I don't care. But I'm not going to say what you feel like I should say to appease you. Because if I become the servant of men, am I not the servant of a Mashiach? Should I please man or should I please Alahym? It is not my job to please you. I don't have a personal stock, and so I don't care. Genuinely, I don't. Man, I never walked around and be like, man, why are these women out here preaching this word before I got in the word? I didn't care. I didn't care. I don't care. I don't care if people celebrate Christmas, bro. I do not care. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm not going to tell you it's okay just because you want me to. And I'm just using that in general because that's what people use all the time. I don't care. Like me personally, I don't care. Do what you want to do. That's what Devin the Dude told you to do. Just do what the F you want to do. Do what you want to do. I don't care. But when it comes to the word, though, I'm not going to tell you that something is cool or bend it to make it be what you feel like it should be to appease you. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And the reason why I'm not going to do that is because, number one, I don't need your acceptance, meaning I'm not seeking after it. So therefore, I don't care. I don't need your praise. What am I going to do with it? I don't need your validation. I don't need your adoration. I don't need any of those things. You know what I'm talking about? See, a lot of people, problem is when they preach the word, you seeking them things from man instead of seeking them for Yahuwah. I don't need those things. I don't care for them things. I don't want them things. What am I going to do with your praise, man? When I say your praise, I mean, and you steady telling me, yeah, you're great, you're this, you're that. What am I going to do with that? You think that's going to make me feel some pride about myself, make me feel good about myself? It's not. I promise it ain't. It's not. And I don't say that out of no pride or arrogance. I'm just saying that flattering words is not going to make me elevate myself in my mind in any type of way. See, some people, and the reason why I say some people, man, when you ain't been, what's what I'm looking for? If you haven't been validated, if you haven't been affirmed, you know what I'm saying, as a child. And this is real talk. This is not being funny, man. You have to understand that to understand the thought process of other people. If you weren't affirmed as a child, if you weren't validated as a child, if you felt like you weren't seen or heard as a child, if you were not loved as a child, if you believed that you weren't accepted as a child, you will grow up as an adult seeking those things from adults to cover up the hole or to fill the hole of what was empty in you as a child. Like, this is real talk, man. All you got to do is sit back and pay attention. If you weren't assured as a child, then you're going to seek assurance from other people when you become an adult. And whatever avenue that it is that you're working in. I'm not talking about just in no romantic relationships, man. I'm talking about fundamentally as an adult in your life. This is what you're going to do. So when you see individuals who start preaching the word, man, you understand what I'm telling you? They desire that from the people because they don't have it. So if you've been affirmed as a child, if you've been validated as a child, you know what I'm saying? If you've been loved as a child, then you can be firmly rooted in what it is that you're about and what you represent, and you don't need other people to do that for you. Now, if that's not the case, if you are the former of what I just mentioned, then hey man, you got some issues you got to work out. That's not a bad thing, man. It just is what it is. You just have to learn to overcome that. To not because see, if you allow the validation, the affirmation, the acceptance of others to control you, then they have the power to destroy you. And you should not be giving anybody that type of power. That power only belongs to Yahuwah. That's the only person you should be giving that to. That's why Paul and Peter said the things that they said. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's why they said what they said. Then should we please man or please Alahym? Am I a servant of man or the servant of a Mashiach? Like, that's not no joke. That's why I tell you, that's why you got to pay attention to your kids, man, because I'm telling you, a lot of the stuff you see adults going after, man, a lot of them, man, this stuff they didn't get as a child. They're looking for it. They're looking for that attention. They're looking for that acceptance. They're looking for somebody to tell them how great they are, that they're special. They didn't get that. And being special in Yahuwah is not enough for them. I'm telling you. You say I went through that and still am as a middle child in my childhood. But well, praise Yahuwah, man. It's a process, my G. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? It doesn't make you a bad person because you might realize you were doing that, because you have to understand the root of where that came from. And when you understand the root of where that came from, then you're like, okay, cool. Now you can effectively do something about it. Doesn't mean you're a terrible person or bad person because you're just looking for what you didn't get as a child. It's actually not uncommon. Unfortunately, a lot of people are afflicted and affected by that. It's just unfortunate when you're dealing with preaching the word, because people are preaching the word for the wrong reason. So they're gonna tell people what they want to hear because they don't want to be shunned. They don't want to hear what we just seen in Luke chapter 6, man. People separating you from their company and reproaching you and speaking evil of your name. A lot of people don't want that. That's why they rather have that happen because of carnal doctrines, but actually taking a stance on something that represents Kadash and godliness. A lot of brothers don't want to do that. Man, look at, man, I told y'all before, you ain't gonna see us around here talking about none of this stuff these people be talking about. No, for what? Who cares? I don't care. It's not important. It's just not important. Because when I say it's not important, meaning it's a lighter matter. Like I said, the weightier matters of the law are more important. Judgment, mercy, and faith is more important. The other things, we won't leave the lighter matters of the law undone, but we don't have to spend an inordinate amount of time focusing on that. That's a quick conversation. Boom. Then you just make a decision on what it is you're going to do. See, for those of you who may not be aware, see, this assembly is different than others, right? You ain't got to do nothing. You know what I'm talking about? But I'll tell you this here. Y'all willing for what's going to come about. If your name gets put on the applicable paperwork, then you are actually saying that the type of time that we own, I'm on that too. Because you ain't got to do nothing. See, we're going to put the word out there. This is what we stand on. This is how we move. I'm not forcing you to do nothing. You know what I'm talking about? That's up to you if you're going to do it. But one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not finna argue with you and go back and forth with you on what type of time we on. That's what I'm not finna do. Now, you might find other dudes and they going to go back and forth and try to prove their doctrine to you. That's why I'm not doing none of that. You can ask me my stance. I'm going to show you what that stance is. You can agree with it or you not agree with it. I ain't going to look at you no type of way. I'm not going to talk bad about you. I ain't going to say nothing to nobody about you. It's not that important. But this is what type of time we on. Period, point blank. I'm not going back and forth with you. You get what? I ain't going to be like, you can't get the word from over here. And I ain't got time to go through all that. I'm not going through all that, but I'm not finna go along to get along to appease you. And I'm not going to bend or compromise something that everybody already been holding to just to satisfy you. We don't do that over here. You can take it and feel how you want to take it. I'm not going over here to regulate anybody else's congregation. Not my house, not my business. You know what I'm talking about? Not my job. Unless that man send me to do that, that's not my job to go in there checking people's congregations. For what? For why? Why are you doing that? Why is that? Why do you even think that's acceptable for you to do? I don't know what they do over there. You know what I'm saying? It's them people who done came around here, they be like, oh man, y'all women don't wear pants, jewelry, makeup, and nothing. Yeah, that's what we do over here. I don't know what they do over there. Guess what? You can come over here and be like, well, our congregation, we do that. That's fine. I ain't got nothing to say about that. We just don't do that over here. They ain't got nothing to do with us. Ain't nobody looking at you funny. Ain't nobody got nothing to say about you. We just don't do that over here. I ain't got nothing to do with what you do over there. If that's what y'all do, that's what y'all do. I ain't got no beef with you. But I'm not going to compromise that when these women over here been doing that. Just to satisfy you, I'm not doing that. Because that's not fair to them. How's that just to them? How's that equitable to them? It's not. It's not. You know what I'm talking about? So, no, I'm not doing that. And I ain't going back and forth with nobody about it. You know what I'm talking about? For what? Dude be like, man, we believe in polygyny. That's your business. We don't do that over here. If you got 5 wives, bro, keep all 5. I ain't got nothing to say. I don't care what you do over there. That ain't got nothing to do with me. See, that's what the problem is. You don't know how to mind your business. That's y'all house. I ain't coming over there with that. Not my business. I'm not the Lord. See, the Lord could go around and check everybody like that because that's his house. Every assembly on earth, that's not my house. I don't have authority over that. I ain't got nothing to do with that over there. That's not my job. That's not my job. But what we're not going to do is compromise or bend the word to appease you. You want to smoke marijuana, smoke it. We don't. And I can show you why. You want to be a drunk, be a drunk. Hold on. I don't even know who this is. Oh, what's happening with this? Oh, Lord have mercy. Listen, I'm just like that, man. I ain't got no pressure or beef with nobody. Do what you want. You know what I'm saying? You be like, y'all drink alcohol? Shoot, some of these niggas do. I don't know. I don't be home with them. You know what I'm talking about? We done went over the word, though, like, if you're dealing with drinking and you look in the text, they usually drunk during celebratory situations, you know, weddings, feasts, this, that, then the third. If you sip you a nice glass of wine on a Tuesday night, is you an alcoholic? No. But if you drinking 3-4 bottles of wine every day, you know what I'm saying? You's a drunkard. You got a problem. You might want to get that together. Simple as that. It ain't that hard. Guess what? If you believe, yeah, man, we get drunk every day. We buy bottles of liquor. That's your business. That's your business. I don't care. I can tell you this here as a man, no word involved. I wouldn't want no woman who drank like that. Not to be my wife. Why would I want that? Why would I want a woman who get drunk every day? You know what I'm talking about? Why would you want that? When you young, I can see why that wouldn't register in your mind. You know what I'm talking about? But when you get to a certain age, that's not becoming of a wife. You get drunk in public. You go out in public and drink alcohol. That's wild to me. You know what I'm talking about? Once you start talking about 30, and you gonna wipe that? Come on, cuz. As a grown man, as a teenager and a child, I could give you that. As a grown man, you know what? And I held that thought process when I was a jit. You know why? Because I looked at drugs and alcohol as a nigga's way in. You know what I'm talking about? Because I know drugs and alcohol can make you lower inhibitions. And then we had a different thought process. Man, you messing with the wrong chick, man. She like that, man. She might drop some information, get you killed, cuz. You know what I'm talking about? You playing games. Now you got a bullet in your brain. Man, I ain't fooling with that. I don't want no woman who get drunk to be raising my children, man. She might be in the house, get drunk, beat on my kids, man. Because she can't control herself because she drunk. No, I'm good. I'm good. Like I say, man, you 18, 19, 20 years old. You getting drunk with it. You ain't paying that no mind. You ain't thinking about it. It's not serious to you. I'm talking about a grown man. You a grown man. You meet this woman, she grown too. She like to drink all the time. You know, niggas like to keep liquor bottles at the house. You come in the house and you see a whole bunch of glass bottles on the refrigerator. This whole drunk. You know what I'm talking about? She's a drunk. What you want with that? What you gonna do with that? Shoot, you come in the house and you see a grown man with all them bottles on it. This nigga a drunk. He might beat you. You know what I'm talking about? He get drunk and black out. Don't even remember it. Call y'all all type of names. What you gonna do with that? Man, what you gonna do with somebody who gonna get high all the time? Let me tell you something, man. I smoked marijuana for a long time. You understand? I smoked marijuana because of the pure enjoyment. But then you got to ask yourself as you age. And even when I got to the point before I stopped marijuana, I'm like, niggas spending money to be tired. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people thinking that you might be getting high and altering your mind frame because you're trying to run from something. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't the case for me. He said that happened to my bro. He got caught with some high power stuff. The chick told his info to and crossed him and took 50 racks from him. My God, today. I ain't gonna lie, boy. I'd have to be in the word, because, boy, I might put her under the grave by 50 bands, boy. That's a lot of money, man. You know what I'm talking about? Cash? That's a lot of money, man. You know what I'm talking about? That ain't no little bit of change, man. Not for no poor people. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, maybe for a rich nigga. And shoot, some of them ain't trying to lose that but for a poor nigga, man, you know how long it took me to get these 50K? I got to go to prison behind this one. I got to. But all those aside, man, like, you have to ask yourself, if you say you in the word and you serve God, why you trying to alter your mindset? Man, ain't no marijuana getting you closer to God. Man, if you believe that, you stuck on stupid. And this is coming from a certified pothead, man. Man, that is not getting you closer to Yahuwah, cuz. How is smoke in your lungs getting you closer to God, man? Are you serious, my nigga? That's THC, brother. Junk is altering your brain. It's altering your brain. You don't need no outside substances to get closer to you. When this man told you it's not what go in you that defile you, but what come out. So that means the marijuana ain't making you more spiritual. And if you run across somebody who tell you that, he's stupid. That's what he justifying himself so he can keep getting high. Man, if you getting high going through the word, boy, you gonna mess up some word, boy, you intoxicated. You intoxicated. You are intoxicated. And guess what dudes do? Go through the word all day to find some verses to justify smoking marijuana. Just say, I'm smoking weed, my nigga. Don't try to use no word to back it up. Just smoke it. Just say, I don't believe it's wrong and smoke it. You know what I'm talking about? Don't try to go through verses and find it. That means you intentionally trying to be wicked, man. Just smoke your weed, cuz. Keep it real with yourself. I like to smoke marijuana. I don't think it's wrong. You know what I'm talking about? That's all you got to say. But just know you stupid. You throwing your money away. Nigga, you could just go to sleep. Now, if you're talking about, well, so I know somebody, well, what about medical stuff? You ain't smoking that marijuana for no medical issues, boy. And you know you're not. And you know you're not. You know how you know you're not? Because a lot of y'all ain't got no herbalists and none of that. Because before they give you marijuana, they going to give you something else to deal with them things, man. If they're a real deal herbalist, marijuana would be the last resort. They wouldn't tell you to smoke it. You know what I'm saying? They would tell you, hey, man, boil this in the tea, do this, that, there, and the third. Ain't no real herbalist going to tell you to damage your lungs by taking smoke in them. Because they already know that smoke going to be damaging your air sacs in your lungs. Ain't no real herbalist going to tell you to smoke no reefer, man. Ain't even going to tell you that, man. And if you think that, your herbalist is trash. You know what I'm talking about? He don't tell you to smoke it. He might tell you to get some THC, do some other thing with it. He don't tell you to smoke it. You know what I'm saying? You're smoking because you like to smoke. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Boy, if I was a wicked nigga, I'd have been dropped some verses on you to be like, yeah, we could smoke that. I smoke marijuana for sport. You know what I'm talking about? Like, straight up, man. Because I told you, man, I had a different level of maturity, man. I know that drugs and alcohol not going to make your problems go away. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not smoking to escape life. I don't, no matter how hard life got, I never was a person that felt like I wanted to escape. You know what I'm saying? I looked at escaping from reality was for cowards. That's just how I viewed it, man. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not knocking nobody if you didn't view it that way. I'm just speaking for me. Because guess what? When that high wear off, when you get back sober, whatever problems you had, they still there. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't got to run from reality no more because you got Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? He said, let Yahuwah be your fear. Let Yahuwah be your dread. Let him stand in the gap for them problems. You don't need no weed and no alcohol, man. You don't need all of that. How you got Yahuwah, but you need outside substances to get closer to Yahuwah? The only thing you need is a little Amuna, man. A little Amar. That's all you need, man. You don't need none of that extra stuff, man. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, man. But nevertheless, let me leave people alone before they start. I'm out of this nigga. I'm finna unsubscribe. Shoot. Tell your friends to join you. You know what I'm talking about? Because I don't give a damn. I really don't. Because the moral of the story is this. Trust God. Amen, Brother Morgan. Man, see, just wasting your money. Indeed, but I smoked marijuana for damn near 20 years, man. 20 years. You know what I'm saying? I started smoking marijuana at 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? I smoked marijuana for 18 years. I have not smoked marijuana for 12 years. Don't have a desire to smoke it. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to smoke nothing. That don't even run across my mind. Why? Because I put my flesh to death. I don't have no desire for that. You know what I'm saying? They don't even come across my man. I could walk past people. I could smell weed. We was somewhere. Where we was at? Where your daddy was at was somebody was smoking good. Where we was at? At the beach. I'm talking about somebody was out there smoking good. It didn't even run across my mind. I sure want some of that marijuana. What am I do with it? That's not doing nothing for me. I mention that because that's a light matter of you understanding your flesh. When you understand that there's certain things that's going to move your flesh and you have a desire for it, you have to kill that desire to where that desire no longer have power over you. Because as long as that desire got power over you, you're going to be after that. But let me finish this here, man. Because I really want to get into verse 9 and 10, but we ain't gonna get that 9. It's about 9:30 right now. This nigga here. See, this old goofy nigga, man. See, my cousin had posted something earlier, man, in Cleveland. Who my cousin who live in Cleveland, man, where it was like it say only 18% of earners make 100 racks. You know what I'm saying? And another lady was like, it's doable. And I mentioned it is doable for people to make 100 racks. But I say for the mass majority of Americans, it's not going to be attainable for a multitude of reasons. But the biggest reason is this, because we finna get ready to get off here. Capitalism is not designed for everybody to get rich. It's just not. You know what I'm talking about? And if you think it is, you might need to reassess your life. Now, somebody just commented talking about, name me another system besides capitalism that did something. I don't remember what this nigga said. Yeah, he said, name me another system. Hold on, man. Name any system that generates more income and wealth than capitalism does. I'll wait. I didn't say anything about that. Does capitalism generate a lot of income and wealth? Sure it do. Does it do it for the mass majority of people? Absolutely not. Because it's not designed to. It's not designed to. It's just not designed to. You know what I'm saying? And that's neither here nor there. That's just not its purpose. You know what I'm saying? Its purpose is to make sure that a select few group of people can have control of all the resources. You know what I'm talking about? And to be able to disseminate that to the public as they see fit. They don't want it because they don't want everybody to have money. They don't want everybody to be well off and good. They don't. That's not what they want. Because if everybody does that, then where's the power at? You know what I'm saying? If everybody's in the same equal footing financially, they don't have any power. That's what's wrong with niggas. You worry about some doggone wealth, but you don't care about power. So you don't think that. So you think you good with your 200,000, your 250,000, your 1 million. Well, if he can pay you 1 million, what he got? Power and control. You know what I'm talking about? But we don't want power and control. We want a little bit of change. It's just always fun to me how black folks just love to advocate for everything, Mr. Charlie. You know what I'm talking about? Junk just makes me sick. It's ridiculous. Verse 10, man. I'm going to come back to verse 10, 9, and 10, y'all willing on the Sabbath, because there's some things that I want to deal with that through this priesthood of Melchizedek for certain. Say, my son, despise not the chastening of Yahuwah, neither be weary of his correction, for Yahuwah love, he correct. Even as a father, the son, he delight. Happy the man that find wisdom, the man that get understanding, for the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof of fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things that you can desire are not to be compared unto her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are the ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her. Happy is everyone that retains her. I mentioned Psalms 1, and it mentioned those who don't commit sin, sit in the seat of mockers and scoffers, and don't go in the way of the wicked, nor seek the counsel of the ungodly. He compared them to a tree of life. Y'all willing, we'll read it on the Sabbath. You know, Jeremiah 17:7 say, those who trust in Yahuwah, he compared you to the tree of life. The aspect of the foundation of what we're dealing with this week with this particular topic, because we'll talk about the priesthood of Aaron a bit and the tree of knowledge and good and evil, but I ain't going to lie to you, it's not going to be the singular focus. The focus is going to be on Melchizedek. The focus is going to be on the tree of life and how that relates to faith. You understand? And how that produces the endless life that comes from the priesthood of Melchizedek. We'll revisit John 19 to show you how the Lord gave away his mama and how that means for those who've never heard it before. You know, those who've been around a while, you done heard it several times. You know what I'm talking about? So we'll go over that, things like that. You know what I'm saying? And introduce you to some other concepts. But hallelujah for Yahushua and the word. I appreciate y'all time this evening. I bless y'all the house of Alahym. You know, we spent more time because I ain't know I was going to go that long with that, man, but it's still, like I said, it's still along in the lines. Shalom, Sister Regina. It's still in the line. Praise you. It's still in the lines of that priesthood and the faith that is involved with it. Shalom, Mika. And that's that you don't need to peace, Joseph, man. Peace on my man. Like, you don't have to prove nothing to these people. You don't have to do any of that. Because you're under something that comes from a commandment of endless life. Remember, the tree of life don't stop producing fruit. You know what I'm saying? The Ruach don't stop running water, man. It's not how it works. Put your trust in Yahuwah and let him take care of the rest. And stop getting caught up in the folly of the wicked. But again, I appreciate y'all. Amen, man. I appreciate y'all. I bless y'all at the house of Alahym in the name of Yahushua. Love y'all. Love you too, Brother Margaret, man. Hold it down, so. And y'all willing, man, till the next time.